Abracadabra! Hello, my name is John Rose. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm filming this on Friday, June 15th, 2018, 2 days away from my 64th birthday. Smack dab in the middle of my Raw Vegan Hero's Journey Awareness Month, 28th anniversary. 28 years ago I discovered the most valuable knowledge in the world. Been very passionate about finding as much as I can about everything, and it all comes down to magic. So that's right, that's what this video is all about, abracadabra. Now you're cured of hay fever. You know that was the original specific purpose for abracadabra. Now your hay fever is gone, it's magic. Everything on this planet, folks, to understand it, you have to understand we're being tricked and we're being fooled at so many levels, it's mind-boggling. As I mentioned so many times in my other videos, there are a lot of layers to this video. Who's behind the curtain and who's behind that curtain? How many curtains are there? How do we really know when we're getting the truth? When there's controlled opposition all around us? Very difficult to cipher things out. But it helps when you understand it's all a trick, it's all a con, it's a magic act. And as I mentioned in my previous video, how do we know when we're hearing the truth or it's just another ruse? We're being tricked. It's just another con. It's not easy, is it? Especially when we don't have enough pieces to the puzzle. Now, I remember when I watched this incredible documentary called The Arrivals. And the thing I learned from that more than anything else was that it's all a magic act. I immediately created files on psychopaths and con artists and magic and magicians. And once you understand everything from that perspective, the world makes sense. It's all a way of tricking us. With our so-called experts, all you have to do is get them to take the first step in the wrong direction. Tell them to go looking for a sunset, but they head east. You never find a sunset when you head east. And everything you're doing might be perfect, so there's no logical fallacies in the contents of your protocol. But wait a second, invalid structure, going the wrong way. I talk about this all the time in my videos about how to use logic. There's 2 tests that we have to pass. Most of our so-called experts fail the invalid structure test because they're going the wrong way. They're putting the cart before the horse for a problem within our control. In Latin, it's called modus ponens. Modus ponens. And that's all you have to do to control the masses. When you control what people think, when you control what they know, you control what they do. And that's pretty much what's happening to us. It's so hard for us to find the truth. It's so hard to figure out what is really going on. And that's why we should be excited when we realize that the ultimate solution will eventually solve all of those problems that we're really concerned about, that seem beyond really how our ability to know for sure if we're getting all of the pieces to this story. And of course, the big things that are holding us back is our subsequent need for money, our subsequent need for government. I've explained in my videos before that those are needs because we're sick and we're disconnected. We shouldn't have those exist to begin with. And when we change collectively, we can solve those problems. So what's really exciting is that war, crime, violence, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, these problems are within our control, both limited and complete, based on whether it's based on the collective or the individual. So we have a lot of problems individually, and most of our problems individually are 100% within our control based on what we're doing. We've got control over that and we can change that. But then all these other problems are collective problems. And the collective has got to get together in order to solve those problems. That's why we have to reach the tipping point. That's why we've got to become a trim tab and share this message. Now, again, it's not easy to figure out, well, really what's going on? Do you have all the pieces of the puzzle? Do you really understand how you would go about doing something? And are you being tricked into thinking, well, look, he's doing this or they're doing this and look what's happening here? Doesn't that mean they're part of the problem? Or does it just mean that they've got to be careful about how they go about their mission. You don't tell your opponent what you're going to do. You can't be too obvious with a lot of things you're doing until you get to a certain point where you can execute certain things. And I think that's where a lot of us are falling short here recently on some of my videos. I've been studying this subject for a long time. It's a big piece of my puzzle. I have at least 400 files. I need to update this. I don't even know how many files I have now on this, on piece number 3, the darkest of the dark side of our behavior. I have over 400 files on this subject matter. And I have a divergent personality. And I know whenever you look at any evidence, you always have to assume it's 100% true or it's 100% false. You got to do that with everything. You got to always accept the possibility that what seems to be good news could be a ruse. But then how do you know? And how do you, again, there's just too many layers to this onion. We don't want to get too focused on that. We just have to realize how important it is to protect our rights in this country, in America. Pretty much the rest of the world, I think, is going to be dependent upon what we can do here in America, because a lot of you guys don't have as much rights as we have here still. And that's been eroding. But hopefully we can make some changes and reverse a lot of those things that has happened within the last couple of decades. We'll see. This is an exciting time to live, my friends. Yes, there's a lot of confusion when we look at downstream and we look at everything we hear, and most of us are just being bombarded so much from one side that it really does influence your thoughts in a way that you just don't understand it. And I don't want to continue on with that too much more anyway. I've talked about it too much as it is, because we need to focus individually on the most important thing. That's getting reconnected. That's help spreading this knowledge about how to live and then how to adapt, because we're damaged. And yes, we gotta change society. And the people that we're going to put in to do this more than likely aren't going to be Mary Poppins. Go clean the swamp, Mary.
Sure, I'll go do it.
And I said I wouldn't go into it anymore. Well, don't know what else to say except 2 more days. Ow! 64, don't feel like 64 in any way, shape, or form. To this day, I still have not had a cold or a flu or a headache or any down day since I started this journey. And actually, I had a head start on this because I really got involved in fitness prior to that. That's huge. Exercise is huge. Diet's even bigger. But those 2 by themselves is never enough. You got to realize we have 12 main essential needs. I explained that in other videos. And we have 2 additional temporary needs, and I explain that in other videos. Anytime you don't know for sure what I'm talking about, just go to the Ultimate Solution playlist, 11-part video series that ties into my special teaching tool, the Ultimate Schematic, where all the pieces logically connect to one another. And there is no panacea. We just can't do one thing and expect that to be the solution to everything. And remember, what used to be all we had to do doesn't work now because things have changed. We're damaged. We need to address those issues. And when we can finally realize that, yes, we have knowledge of how to live and now we have knowledge of how to adapt, we can put those 2 together, apply them both, spread the message, reach the tipping point, we'll be in for a treat.